Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. I'm Jeanne Tarasovic, Secretary of the Board. Welcome to old-timers like me who have been attending for years, to newer members who have recently found a home with us, and to visitors who may not know us at all or know us only virtually. I hope you'll stay with us and keep coming back as we all wait for the real hugs and handshakes and live singing and laughter we crave. Hope. I've been using that word constantly lately, and I've been feeling it in my heart and soul, a weight lifted, a sense of possibilities I haven't felt for a long time. How can we not feel hope in the spring? I don't know if you can hear the birds behind me, but it does my heart good. How can I have felt that reawakening in my soul every year for so many years, even when the world looks dark? This particular spring brings the hope of COVID's decline, the hope that people will choose to be careful and patient even after vaccination, the hope that the shots and the relief they bring will be available to everyone very soon so that we can be together physically in our building again. I hope you too are feeling that hope, and I promise I will not say the word hope again. On a more practical note, we are halfway through our annual giving Stewardship Campaign. As our ministerial intern, Lauren Levwood, wrote, "The world we dream of is possible. Rhythmical, predictable generosity is a spiritual practice that seeds the future of our dreams. One way to engage this practice is with a regular monthly pledge to your church community. Many of you have already given your pledge, and we are so grateful. But, as it says on our website, we know that this is an extraordinary and challenging time. Many of you are facing serious financial hardship. Many of you who need our church most right now feel terrible about not being able to support it financially. Please remove this from your list of worries. We are here to support each other, and we will get through this together. We know that those who are able to do more to support our church at this time will do so, recognizing that if the shoe were on the other foot, our fellow congregants would gladly do the same for us. It's who we are and what we do. Thanks to all of you who are able to be generous in this trying time." Later, we'll hear from Janet Ardema and her children about why they love and support First UU. I continue to be amazed by the wealth of opportunities our church offers for spiritual development, social action, community building, friendship, and fun. If you're not getting the tri-weekly newsletters, please email membership@richmonduu.org to subscribe. And remember that our amazing ministers and other professionals are available for personal support whenever you need it. Info is in the weeklies and online at richmonduu.org. Coffee Hour follows this service. Use the separate link in the same message where you found this one. Be well. Be hopeful. It's spring.
Good morning, everyone. We are a subset of the Artemagagnon family. We couldn't all be in exactly the same place at the same time. But my name is Janet.
My name's Aletta. My name's Beckett.
And my name is Sylvia.
And we are proud to speak to you today on behalf of our annual Stewardship Campaign. We are all still in this together. So we pledge our annual financial gift to this First UU community because, first and foremost, of the community. It is because of First UU that we are able to live out our most important values while being in community with others. And that's obviously very important to us. Now, this looks different for different members of our family because we have different favorite parts of being part of First UU. And so some of our favorite parts are
Fun night. Class coloring pages.
And then I really like the religious education classes, as well as multi-generational services.
great. We also really love the music, and back in the day when we would have meals together as a community at the church, and hugely important to us is all of the amazing things that the First UU organizes for us members to be a part of as part of our ways of acting out our values and living our values. So we use the automatic monthly withdrawal method to make our pledge into a reality. This is really great because it allows us to not add yet another thing to our to-do list, and we've made it part of our monthly budget. We've been able to, revisit that amount each year and increase it in modest amounts over time as we are able. So we highly encourage that you remember each year to pledge again, if you haven't pledged yet, to join in this wonderful part of being part of the First UU community. Make your annual pledge, set up monthly auto pay, and know that you're doing your part to make all of this amazing work in community possible. We really miss being in person with our First UU community, and we are very, very excited for the day when we're able to be in the same space together again. In the meantime, we're going to remember that we are all still in this together, and remember to make your pledge, sign up for the monthly auto pay, and we want to personally thank you for being in community with us.
Our chalice lighting this morning comes from the Bible, Mark, chapter 11, verses 1 through 11. Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethphage and Bethany, near the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it, and will send it back here immediately.'" They went away and found a colt tied near a door outside in the street. As they were untying it, some of the bystanders said to them, "What are you doing, untying the colt?" They told them what Jesus had said, and they allowed them to take it. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread leafy branches that they had cut in the fields. Then those who went ahead and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our ancestor David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Then he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple. And when he had looked around at everything, as it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12.
A crowd is excited and full of honorifics for a young teacher who comes to Jerusalem. They lay down their cloaks and they wave palms in honor of this teacher whom they will reject very soon in favor of a criminal. It is the thinking of crowds, the trials and tribulations that they draw up in our lives that we're going to talk about today. Welcome to a time of worship on Palm Sunday of Passion Week, as Passover arrives, and as we ask the questions, what are you ready to do? In faith or in fallacy? Welcome.
Lately I've been thinking in the power of a moment when anything is possible and everyone is present. The door is wide open at the church of what is. Walk in. This is the light I carry. Tonight is a celebration. You have no complaint. Sinners and saints under the bright constellations. Lately I've been thinking we're all in the same place. As far as anyone can tell, we got it all to ourselves. The hymnal is open at the church of what is. Let's sing. This is the light I carry. Tonight is a celebration. You have no complaint. Sinners and saints under the bright constellations. Lately I've been thinking nothing lasts forever, so remember us to those you love. Leave the stars on when you go. The hymnal is open at the church of what is. Let's sing. This is the light I carry. Tonight is a celebration. You have no complaints. Sinners and saints under the bright constellations. This is the light I carry. Tonight is a celebration. You have no complaints. Sinners and saints under the bright constellations. Under the bright constellations.
The reading, The Poet Thinks About the Donkey by Mary Oliver. On the outskirts of Jerusalem, the donkey waited. Not especially brave or filled with understanding, he stood and waited. How horses turned out into the meadow leapt with delight. How doves, released from their cages, clatter away, splashed with sunlight. But the donkey, tied to a tree as usual, waited. Then he let himself be led away. Then he let the stranger mount. Never had he seen such crowds, and I wonder if he at all imagined what was to happen. Still, he was what he had always been, small, dark, obedient. I hope finally he felt brave. I hope finally he loved the man who rode so lightly upon him, as he lifted one dusty hoof and stepped, as he had to, forward. Let us join in a time of reflection and meditation on this reading.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Faith Harris, and I'm a member of Share the Plate. For March, our recipient is Resiliency Gardens, an initiative of Happily Natural, founded by Duran Chavis. Early in 2020, Duran recognized the need for some way to address food insecurity in a new way. Exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, he recognized that economic downturn and health challenges meant that people needed more access to healthy food. And so they have raised money and have donated over 300 raised bed gardens to people's backyards where they're able to grow and access healthy food for themselves. That's resiliency. So today I encourage you to be very generous as you consider your contribution for the Share the Plate for March to be given to Resiliency Gardens, an initiative of Happily Natural. Thank you.
Do you follow crowds readily? Now, I love a parade. I'm definitely someone who can follow a marching band. It's cost me a little bit. Sometimes I've found that marching bands are the symbol of military superiority, and when I hear a marching band, I have to ask myself, should I be in that row? Should I be playing or marching? Or maybe I should be standing by and asking questions. Imagine the story that we've been handed down about the very end of the life of the man Jesus. He made no great claims for himself, and he had only 12 followers, and as some people have pointed out, not all of them stood up in the test of time and devotion to his teaching. We find in this particular Palm Sunday, named after the palms that they waved, or Passion Sunday as it's also known, because it foretells the arrival of harsh judgment and ultimately the crucifixion and death and burial of the man named Jesus. Think about that. The people who were out waving palms and welcoming him into Jerusalem become the very people who call to keep him and execute him and to free another man. Perhaps someone they knew but didn't particularly care for, or maybe they did care for him. At any rate, the crowd changed within a matter of days. We do this too. We think something's fashionable, then we think it's blasé, and we leave it behind. We think about this in fashion. We look back at our hair and our dress in the 80s, 90s, and aughts and say, oh my God, did I really put that on? But we also think about it in terms of what we believe and understand. Life is a challenge. We want to trust the experts, which we've tried to do, for example, during the time of vaccine. And the experts haven't always known what was right. Perhaps they should have known more. But they were trying not to overreach sometimes, and we were trying to follow. And yet, the whole art of being in a crowd and knowing what you're following is never to give up your individual perspective and your commitments that hold you close to that perspective. Things like the worth and dignity of people. When people argue that someone's life is not worthy, we should all be called back into ourselves. When a crowd gets together and decides that we really don't need the democratic process, well, we should pull back from that crowd in the understanding that all people deserve a voice in determining their own lives. And of course, when we think about the earth, we should think carefully. Because when people say it doesn't matter, it doesn't really have a big effect, there's nothing I could do, things of that nature, when we hear those statements that say we don't need to act, we should pull back. There are all manner of fashions. You can find them on all different channels on the cable. You can read them in many publications with a definite point of view. You can hear them on the airwaves. You can read them in books. But ultimately, we have to bring to the groups we are in and the groups we know our full selves, our thoughtful, reflective, committed selves, so that one day we're not calling someone the king and 4 days later calling for his head. This is part of the challenge of our world this day. There are so many bright and brilliant ideas out there, and many of them sound truly wonderful. on the face of them. I mean, who could be against a very good and lawful election? Except when the definition of lawfulness deprives some people of their access to the vote. And in the case of this man, Jesus, he was trying to teach love. But what followed from his followers has not always been that. Not in war, not in the practice of the church hoarding and greedfully retaining power and wealth, not in the practice of enslavement that Christians here in these United States claimed was divinely ordained. Yeah. None of that was following Jesus. In fact, Dr. Martin Luther King has said that he thinks the greatest Christian there ever was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi practiced the kind of Christianity most Christians never understood. So, when we are involved in waving ponds of praise for certain things that are just perfect, let's stop and ask ourselves, am I bringing my full values into the trials and tribulations of the day? Am I authentic, and am I speaking up for them? We don't want to be a part of the crowd that calls for the execution of Jesus. We don't want to be a part of the crowd that arrogantly defines what it knows and what it prefers as the easiest and best choice. And even when we are disagreeing with people we think are misled, we have to call forward their values and listen and promise to proceed from an authentic understanding of the goodness that can be in human life. Believe me, standing up for the goodness in human life is full-time work. So, in this Holy Week, I hope you will find a way to step back from the crowd and to ask ourselves, where am I following that I ought not? Where am I failing to lead? And in a crowd, am I my authentic self? Because when I assent to participate, I want to be on the right side, on the side of love, whenever there is trial and tribulation. Blessed be.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more somewhere. There is more somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere.
We extinguish our chalice today with these words. The Jews didn't negotiate or argue when they left Egypt. There was that golden opportunity of redemption, and they grabbed it and ran so fast that there was no time for the dough to rise. They did so without knowing where they were going and what lay ahead. It was a leap of faith and an amazing sign of deep trust in Moses and in God. In this figurative, interpretive sense, it's about us jumping, getting off the comfortable and familiar terra firma, rising higher, infusing spirituality and holiness into our physical, everyday pedestrian lives. It takes joy, energy, enthusiasm, and a confidence that isn't deterred by those around us. May it be so.
As we go through this week, let's examine the times when we've been waving palms, when we should have maybe been considering our own ashes. Carry home with you the commitment to hear the wisdom in the group, to speak truth, to speak it in love, even when it feels like it's going to cost a lot to do that. Lest we all be led astray, and lest we all miss that time when leaping in good faith is exactly what is needed.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night, and if you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night. Hear the song of deep within you. Hear the song of peace in your heart. Spring's new beginning lead to harvest. Love will guide us on our way, on our way. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way.